Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Myopia, and we are doing The Man in the Iron Mask, which I remembered as a kid's movie, and it is not. In the meantime, welcome. I rearranged the order slightly. I don't even remember if I told you what we were going to do, but I wanted to bump this up because Matt, one of our panelists this time, and has a con coming up, and I want to make sure you guys hear all the information about that. But in the meantime, of course, welcome to Myopia Movies. If you like what we do and want to give us more money, please go to Myopia's Patreon. Patreon.com/myopia, where we have, of course, a Patreon. We have riffs up, we have movies to talk about, we have extra episodes every month, and every other month we have a mission briefing. So thanks for all you do. Follow, subscribe, rate, and record. Bye. One, two, three. Welcome to Myopia Movies. This week we talk The Man in the Iron Mask, where we learn the dichotomy of Leo DiCaprio. I'm Nick Hoffman, host of Myopia Movies and riffer on Cineprov. Join the new Cineprov Patreon. Cineprov, patreon.com/Cineprov, and the Myopia Patreon, patreon.com/Myopia. And on panel tonight we have
Matthew W. Quinn, who is going to be selling books at the Toylanta Convention in Marietta, March 19th through 21st. So come on by.
Nord Trinette, just wandered in here as always. Y'all need to lock y'all's doors.
And I'm Candace, fellow riffer at Cineprov, host for Lips Down Dixie, and just general overall movie and plaza lover.
That's right. And because I screwed this up on trivia last night, by the way, follow the Cineprov group, join us for trivia now and again. Fitzy is just as important as the rest of the group. I felt so bad about that. We will be doing a Myopia Cineprov combination in a few weeks again. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, we haven't decided on the movie. Other than this summer, Evan is making us do Dragon Ball Z. Now, I have feelings about that, but it will happen.
You talking about the white people remake?
The white people remake, the live action white people remake.
I got you.
It's going to be bad. I've seen clips of it. I've seen the kung fu that they do.
It fucked up my childhood.
The what?
Fake kung fu.
Oh no.
Kung funk.
Oh no.
I know. So we should start out. This is the horniest movie we've done in a long time. This is a solid PG-13 horn fest. Leo DiCaprio is in top form. This is prime pussy posse Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah. This was 1998. He was 22 at the time.
Yeah.
So he was hot at this point.
Dude.
But I gotta tell you who was hotter, and that's John Malkovich.
Dude, John Malkovich is rocking.
I want to bang him so much in this film.
Please.
That's all I'm going to say on that.
He doesn't
serious
age
grampy
to
energy.
Me. I feel like John Malkovich is the same age.
He has been.
All the time.
He's been fulfilling my daddy complex for like 20 years.
I got you.
My.
Dude, and for a bald man, he is rocking that wig something fierce.
Is that a wig? Is that hairpiece?
No, the man has been stone bald for the last 30 years, but that is awesome. Everyone in this is Jeremy Irons is in this.
Yes.
Hugh Laurie is an advisor in this movie,
Yeah,
and he showed up, and I nearly shit myself. I was like,
is that House?
House.
Yeah,
That's House.
And he's not doing anything. He's not being funny. At the time, he was a British comedian. He's just he shows up in a scene with a wig, and that's it.
A British man playing a Frenchman. Ha ha.
That's right. This is the most English French movie I've ever seen.
The accents were kind of throwing me off.
They were all over the place.
It was all over the place. I felt like if MTV was produced this movie because they just wanted to have Leo in it.
It's true.
And by the way, I have an afro. I don't have a hair part down the middle and stuff. Were people really craving the Leo hair part down the middle like they did in the 90s? Because I couldn't get it.
Well, the middle part is hot right now. It's back. It's back. Yeah.
I can't do. I mean, I guess I could. It'll just look like you just parting the Red Seas with my hair. But it just.
You look like Cat from that that British show. What is it? With H on it. Oh,
To quote the great Palpatine, do
Oh,
it.
fuck. I'll have to think about it.
We're talking about parting my hair down the middle. Halton, do you think that's a good idea?
Oh, you're talking about IT Crowd, where the guy has like
Moss.
Well, yeah.
Moss is the shit.
I can do it.
Iode?
You know, he's in the running for potentially being the next Doctor Who.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah, and I think that would be an amazing choice, and they need to do it fucking immediately.
I can fuck with
Well,
that.
he's first of all, you need to see it. Like he was on Graham Norton talking about his new book. Have you seen this clip? He saw the movie A View from the Top, which is a Gwyneth Paltrow movie, which was so mundane and boring, he thought it explained his entire life. It's very funny. But anyway, Man of the Iron Mask, who wants to give us the plot? Nora, you have notes? You got it?
You have a whole notebook over
I know.
there. I
Whole
feel so
notebook,
ill prepared.
but
You showed up with a notebook, and I showed up with a bag of Evan Williams.
I'm going to give you the plot is how I seems fit.
Oh.
Again,
Please.
I'm horrible with the characters and name. That's
fine.
probably because of my dyslexia.
dude.
But here we go.
You don't have to apologize. I got everything wrong today, too. Like, I was looking at this, I'm like, oh, that's his name.
No,
all right.
you're gonna kill this. I can
You
feel it.
got
Go
this.
for it.
Oh, okay.
You got
All right,
this.
here
I
we go.
believe
Here
in
we
you.
go. Here we go. All right. So it starts off. Apparently, there's this hoe of a queen, and she has 2 kids, right?
Whoa.
Yeah. Huh? What?
Whoa.
What's up? We can't.
No, I missed that whole plot point.
Oh,
What's going on?
Okay, so there was the queen, right?
Jesus Christ.
All right, and the queen, she had 2 kids, right?
Oh, shit.
Right,
son.
and so what happened was, so I think the baby daddy, this is Jerry Springer type shit. So so he was like, "Oh shit, I got twins. This is not gonna fuck with me. I need to bury one away." So they kept one, and so there's this little Leo DiCaprio, which I thought he did the best Joffrey impersonation of this time.
Little
And,
Leo.
yeah. Oh, Leo, just do whatever he wants to do. And the people of the village, and I believe this is around France at this time.
This
This is around France.
And everyone has English accents. And the French are trying to rebel. I apologize to history buffs. So they're trying to rebel.
please. This is all nonsense. You're fine.
And
This is
the
great.
3 Musketeers, which is a squad now of people. I thought it was just 3 of them. Is a squad. Is the
Yeah,
king's
Musketeer
servants.
squad.
Yeah, Musketeer squad. And they're like, "Yo, King, we need to do something." He's like, "Nah, fuck this. I see some pussy. I need to go after it." So one of the Musketeers guy, his son, he had a girl that was really thick eyebrows, and he was like,
Dude.
"I need you." And he was like, "All right, I'm gonna take one of the Musketeers' son, and you're gonna go to the front lines." And he gets killed, and then the dad wasn't feeling it, and they're like, "All right, we need to get this king out." And are people following so far?
Yeah, I mean, everything you've said is correct.
Matt's like, yeah. And so
Matt always looks like that. It's
Yeah.
fine.
That's fine.
So the whole plot of this movie is trying to dethrone Leo because he's a dick to the people of France, and he only cares about getting his dick wet.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I got nothing. That's perfect.
You
I think
forgot
this is
the other
right now.
Leo. That's how it works.
And so, my bad, sorry. So the twin Leo, the one that got cast away, his name was like what?
Philippe.
Philippe.
Yes.
Philippe?
It's Philippe.
He apparently people didn't want to know he was like royalty, so they literally put his face in an iron mask.
Yeah.
In a dungeon.
Like this,
And he came out with no fucking acne, no lupus, no nothing on his face for like 30 years. This
a
was
case
perfect
of
for all
face
his
lupus is
skins.
the worst.
Well,
I don't think.
I think it
don't
was
think
only
Iron
6
Mask give you
years. He looked like
lupus.
a freaking wolf man.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, he just grew his hair around his eyes. Like, I don't know.
I know. I don't bathe for like 2 days, and I look like
Oh my
a
god, I have
monster.
fucking warts and shit. This guy had a metal mask around his face for how many years? Was he
About
counting?
6, I think.
6 years?
6 years.
His head don't swell or anything.
And he's not like freakishly pale either.
No, he's not. He looks just as beautiful as
You
Brittany
do.
Moscow.
I do realize, first of all, you're shocked, which is that he has white dude straight hair.
Right.
Like you couldn't do it because it would just start pushing up the top of your head after 6 years.
No, we can't.
It would actually break the Iron Mask. It would actually. It would.
Dude, you killed me. That's so funny.
Yeah.
So we should talk. I mean, first of all, well done, because I don't know if I could have done that. And my wife was watching this with me, and she's like, "Dude, this movie has something for everyone, including group sex scenes." And I'm just like,
Yes.
"There's a lot."
We'll talk about that when it comes.
I think he was trying. I don't know if he
Oh, I
succeeded.
see you put group sex in
Group
bold
se-
in your
group
notes.
sex. I was like,
Underlined twice.
Like find the needle and the penis in the haystack. That was the joke I had for them. But that's
you realize you're creating our first piece of merch. Like at the end of the season, when it's full, we'll just auction that shit off.
That's a great idea.
I'm so glad I started with a new one because my previous note, let's say some particular water fell on top of it because of my cat, so it's kind of fucking up.
Cat water. Cat water's the worst.
And it smells like skunk. Yeah,
You're right.
So that's right.
So this book, just for a point of reference, this is Randall Wallace, which means nothing to you other than he's in movie jail for directing that atrocious Heaven is for Real. So he hasn't made anything since 2014. But he also did We Are Soldiers and Secretariat, and his hooking up with Mel Gibson, he also wrote the movie Braveheart. So like that's why this movie is actually shockingly better than I remembered it. Like we choose these thinking these will be fun to revisit because like. No, dude, this is a horny, crazy movie.
I thought it held up really great. I
was
had
fun
a great
as hell.
time watching it this morning. It was so fun.
Also, the one thing that always bothers me is that they're supposed to be the Musketeers. Musketeers, they shoot guns. Like, this is a sword movie, which is fine. It's just, all of this is very bizarre. Like, they're pledging their honor to the sword and shit. Like, this is heavy-duty cosplay awesomeness.
So tell me, when I see Three Musketeers, I just think of like the candy bar, or literally three of them.
Yeah.
So what's the history behind?
So the original book. Okay, first of all, these are the most pro-monarchy, anti-democracy books of all time. Mm-hmm. This is Alexander Dumas, and the first book, The Three Musketeers, is about D'Artagnan, the young one in this, joining the Three Musketeers, and he's just a precocious kid who proves himself to stop the evil Cardinal Richelieu. Now, for those of you who know history, Richelieu wanted to add democracy, break from the church, and make France more independent.
Gross.
I know. And so he's the villain who wants to take power away from the monarchy. And that's why this one's so funny, because it's like, the king's being mean. He must be an evil twin. Yeah. Let's put the good king. And then the end of it is literally a scroll. It's like, and he was the greatest leader who has ever lived. The monarch who brought us prosperity. And you're just like, dude, Louis XIV just fucked a lot of people and bankrupted France. Like, this is all crazy.
But he made great gardens.
Dude.
I mean, let's think about them gardens, though.
Versailles?
Nice.
Versailles is something sweet.
I know.
Versailles is so big, you couldn't get to the bathroom, so people would just shit in the hallways. Which we see Leo doing, like a dog, just shitting in the corner.
It's like being at City Hall East.
That's exactly right. Oh, R.I.P.D. City Hall East. And I guess, by the by.
Well, speaking of shitting, the highest rank wasn't that the guy who attended the king on the toilet?
That's right. They had the toilette, which was his morning routine, and if you were close to him, you'd applaud as he took his morning shit.
Was this a deleted scene?
No, it should have been.
The extended version.
The unrated director's cut.
Yes!
And by the way, because of where their careers were at the time, how was Pussy Posse member Tobey Maguire not the guy who had to wipe his ass at this point in the movie? I mean, but speaking of horny and weird, we should talk about the opening scene of this movie.
Yes.
Which is Gerard Depardieu coming to see
Aramis.
Aramis, right?
Yeah.
Gerard Depardieu is Porthos, who's like old and fat and horny, but it doesn't always work.
It doesn't work.
It totally works.
And-
It works for him.
And Aramis is a priest. I'm talking about something else working.
Oh, yeah.
And Aramis is a priest, and he keeps annoying
That's what
Aramis.
asprin's for.
Or a hot sauce on your taint.
Does that work?
I mean, we'll have to find out.
Science! It's happening later.
Okay, you see me start breaking my fingers here?
Well,
Hot sauce?
Should we call in an order for the wings and we're like, can we just get one individual pack of hot sauce? And we're just curious.
You put on gloves and we get out like a basting brush and we're just like, for science!
Science!
Okay, so Aramis is like literally like full-on Christian here. He's trying to pray, and
He's praying.
and Gerard Depardieu comes in with like 3 women corseted to the nines.
Yeah.
just yelling titties.
Dude, and his line is his first line is something along the lines of, "What is better than a puffy nipple in your mouth?" Or
That's
like,
right.
a plump nipple in your lips. He goes, "Forgiveness," and then he farts and he goes, "Do you forgive me?" And I'm just like, the movie in a scene.
Yes.
Wonderful.
It is, yeah. Well, and it's funny because when I was watching that this morning, I was like, number one, I didn't remember it being that sexy.
Right.
And I say that in quotation marks, you know, because that's kind of hammy, but it's still, right, but it's still involving sex, right?
Sure.
And then the farting, and I was like, and then I think back and I'm like, well, in 1998, I was, you know, probably like, 15 or something like that. So that was probably hilarious. I was probably like, this is brilliant. Great movie making.
It is.
And so, yeah.
I mean, but again, like we gotta give it to this dude because he's like old fucking Frenchman
Yeah.
and. But he's just
The only actual Frenchman in the whole fucking French movie.
opposite, Franco-American
Yeah.
John Malkovich and Jeremy Irons and all this
The
stuff.
first notes I have here was like Frenchman loves boobs. That's the
Yes,
only thing I said.
I mean,
definitely.
that's science.
That's not.
That is.
That's
They love
science.
butter and boobs.
And smoking.
Yeah.
At the same time.
At the same time, just
Butter boob 6. There we
dude,
go.
raise the cholesterol on my titties, girl. Just
right.
dribble drabble, little dribble drabble.
Need a base. Need a base. Need a base.
Oh, hell. And by the way, if you don't know, and I'm saying this, and I'm trying to pull up a picture specifically for the lady on the panel, but young
I know what boobs look like, Nick.
No, no,
I
no.
have said.
I was about to say, what are you
young
looking at?
Young Gerard Depardieu is
Yeah.
quite the snack.
I want to see.
Yeah. Okay, let's pull up.
Just like him and John Malkovich, they just seem the same age all the time.
Where the fuck is the picture with him and his lady friend?
You should Google young.
I mean,
I don't know. The haircut's not doing it for me.
well, it's set in the medieval period. He's a
But still, I'm
Okay,
looking for something better.
Let me see. I'll
Yeah,
see if I can
something
find a
better.
better one. Okay.
All right, keep looking.
Okay.
Go to the dark web.
Well, right now he's like.
Go incognito.
By now he's turned into the planet Jupiter, though. If you haven't seen him, there's a video of him getting. He's so drunk on the plane he pisses himself in the aisle.
What?
Yeah.
Can't we just
I
see
want
that
to
later?
live like the French. Just drink wine and eat cheese all the time.
Yeah, but the thing is, that eventually that catches up with you when you lose a foot
That's-
to gout. By the way, the movie we can't do, maybe we can do, My Father the Hero. Have you seen My Father the Hero? It's a remake of a French farce, but like, there's a girl, his daughter, and like he's divorced dad, yada yada yada, and she's on the beach, and like they go on a vacation together, yada yada yada, in the Bahamas, and the girl's in love with this dude, and he's not interested. So to make him jealous, she pretends to be in love with her dad. It's really something.
That seems creepy and like as if Woody Allen would have directed it. So let's never bring that up again at the table.
Starring Katherine Heigl.
Makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And Stephen Tobolowsky, and I'm okay with Stephen Tobolowsky. Tobo.
Real quick, just go back to the movie.
Yeah.
And I'll
Yeah,
ask-
what's next on your
Why?
list
Well,
there?
no. What my other note was like, why were people so infatuated by Leo DiCaprio? I just didn't.
Because
get it.
he's hot as fuck. Next
Then
question.
Why? You see, that's as a black man.
Yeah.
So why is it the eyes? Is it the hair? Is it the cheekbones?
It's
is
the
it...
fact that he looks like a baby male model.
Fair
I think
enough.
it's the fact
Well,
that he
he's-
looks like a woman.
Oh,
Well,
family quality.
he's
I
actually
mean,
really-
for real, like when he's laying there in the bed naked with Christine,
Yeah.
they have the exact same hair and eyebrows.
And profile.
Yeah.
Right? Like, because he has
They
those,
re-
those
yeah.
weird cheekbones that are very
Yeah,
soft
so I mean,
cheekbones.
because here's the deal: every woman is a little gay. I'm just putting that out there. I mean, sisters, it's okay. You don't have to say it out loud. I know what's in your heart. Just put it away. But that being said, there's something very attractive about a man who looks a little bit like a woman. You're like,
So is that Bishonen?
Who?
The Bishi, or is that the term these days?
Boucher, bougie.
Bushinon.
Are you sure you're speaking English?
Yeah, it's Japanese.
Okay.
Oh.
You
no, I
just
know what
go
kawaii is, but I don't know what that is.
hentai?
That's something else.
That is something. I mean,
What are you googling?
I don't know. We should be incognito now.
Jeremy Irons.
No, I'm guessing it's a term for effeminate men. Is
That's
that
what I,
is
that's
that
what
what you
I
mean?
thought it meant.
I think that's what I know what you're trying to say. I don't know how to say it either.
But I mean,
yeah,
like-
I'm sure there's something about that. There's
Pussy.
something
No.
people.
But I mean, like, look at him
Yeah.
even now. Like, he is like Tom Cruise, Paul Rudd. Like, he could be 30, he could be 60. You couldn't really tell.
Yeah.
Well, in The Departed, they make him badass instead of a pretty boy.
Oh, he's great in The Departed. I mean, there's no complaints about his
Yeah.
acting. His acting is
Oh,
remarkable.
it's up there. It's
I
up
don't know.
there.
I mean, I never thought he was attractive at all. Like there was nothing. He didn't do anything for me. He is literally the cracker, and the rest of the actors are the dip. And I'm just eating him just to get to everybody else.
Really?
That's all there's to it. Yeah. There's just, There's nothing about Leo that...
Because in this movie, he's King Douchebag and his really nice brother at the same time.
Yeah, and I gotta tell you, at one point I was watching him when and this is further into the film, and that is when Philippe has now taken the role of King Louis, and is trying to look uncomfortable, trying to imitate himself, who is played by the same actor earlier on. This is like some Helen Bonham Carter fucking level bullshit going on, and it made me so happy that I was like, this is one of those few moments when I'm like, he's actually a really good actor, because I truly believe this was two different people.
You brought that up. I was thinking of Helen Bonham Carter pretending to be Hermione
pretending to be Helen Bonham Carter. Yeah. That's exactly what it reminded me of, and I was like, wow, this is... I mean, I expect that from Helen because she's a goddess, but
she's phenomenal.
From Leo, I'm just kind of like, oh, okay.
Well, I will say this: in the scenes that they appear together, that doubling, twin. I don't know what year this movie came out.
98.
It was pretty good as far as just like next to them, like as far as green screen or whatever.
And I'll tell you, because it's all a historical piece, it lends itself well to still looking modern. You know what I mean? Because you wouldn't know that this was a 23-year-old film. Because, like you said, the green screen, that whole cutting technology was still a little choppy then. Yeah. But because it's not an updated area or scene, or it's not against something starkly modern, there's something very forgiving about that.
I got you.
So,
I got you.
This is like...
It's like when you use practical effects for a film, and then it suddenly holds up way better than CGI that was done in '98 kind of deal.
Yeah. Stay tuned when we have to do Godzilla for Cineprov. Ooh, 1998, same year. By the way, this is when Leo was at his his career was really heating up. This Romeo and Juliet was 96.
Okay.
Titanic was 97.
Wow.
This was 98, and then he took a year off because the guy was fucking dead.
Sure.
But then he gets nominated for an Academy Award for Gangs of New York in 2002. Catch Me If You Can is 2002. Then The Aviator. Then The Departed. Then Blood Diamond. Pow. The dude is fucking incredible.
I think what we're all forgetting about is What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
That's 93.
Wow.
Dude, he must have been the littlest baby.
That was his first movie.
I thought when he had a
TV
show.
Yes, he was on.
He was another one about. Though he was in a movie before then, and it was about playing basketball. But I think about being molested though.
Yeah,
it was it's a weird thing.
Basketball Diaries.
Yeah.
Which is great. He was in Growing Pains, which might be what you're thinking of.
He was a thief in that, wasn't he?
He was. He was Luke Browser.
Luke Browser.
Brower. But yeah, I mean, this is like Pussy Posse era where he's running around with shit and getting all that sex.
Yeah.
So I think in the first scene that we see him in, he's pretty badass in this first scene. He's getting tailored, directing an army, planning a party and that type deal. I just say big dick energy that I see when first coming in. Yeah.
Some serious dick energy.
Some serious dick,
I agree with that.
Dickhead energy.
Well, which we get in that same Gerard Depardieu scene. He goes, "It's a shame, ladies, he's not coming out with us because he's hung like a donkey." She goes, "I thought you were hung like a donkey." And he goes, "We shall see." You're just like, this is a movie for kids.
Yeah.
Kind of. Who knows? Okay.
I mean, that's middle school era. I mean, it's when you start to become curious about your body.
Your body and donkeys.
No. God, nasty.
We Googling. Okay, we Googling.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. So what else? What's next? Since you have kind of a very linear path of train of thought there. What's your next thing that you wrote in your book?
So once we come across Leo and he's getting tailored and shit.
Yeah.
Familiar face when we see Hugh Lawrence, aka Dr. House, appears as I guess an advisor to some type of dispersing the food, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Yes.
And what happened was he's like, "Yo, sir, French people are hungry," and he's like. Leo's character sees this girl, which happens to be John Malkovich's character's son's girlfriend that he's about to propose to, and kind of halts the story and everything. And that's kind of where we get into the gist of the plot. He comes out there, and I forgot what kind of party it is. They play this type of game similar to what the Creole people did during Mardi Gras, where they have to chase a pig that has some type of diamond in it.
Yeah.
I forgot John Malkovich's son's character, who's actually about to propose to his girl and sees this diamond, and says, "Yo, I'm gonna get this for you." And once all this people just kind of skirt to get this pig. His girlfriend is just chilling in the courtyard by herself, and Leo.
She's not chilling there. She is trapped there.
She is
by,
trapped.
By water. And I'd like you to know that when I was thinking about this, I was like, when he was turning that on, I was like, I always use this water feature when I trap young women. And I'm like, I want to know how that went down when you were talking to the person building this, and you're like, listen, I'd like this water feature in a perfect square. And you're like, a square? Why would you like in a square, Your Majesty? And you're like, well...
I'm setting up a fuck.
I gotta trap some bitches. I need to trap some hoes.
How does one trap hoes in the 16, 1700s?
Well, when
hoe trapper was called.
when being super duper rich isn't enough.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You can use a shrubbery or two.
And fan and like the kind of sprinklers you go little fan ones.
Yeah.
But it's not enough to keep a Jesuit ninja assassin out.
God.
Nothing stops them. Okay?
No.
Those
That's
bitches are
what's
Of course, the
serious.
Jesuits are smart enough to figure out ways around it.
And I love the fact that when D'Artagnan throws his sword through the water, it doesn't even eschew it or stop it, or physics suddenly don't apply. It just keeps on going and gets him right in the heart. And I was like, wow,
he's-
doesn't work that way.
But he's D'Artagnan. He's a middle-aged man god.
He
Is
is.
he Usual Suspect, by the way? The actor,
Who?
the guy who plays
D'Artagnan?
Well, D'Artagnan is oh god damn it! You just said it and it went right
Usual
out of my mind. It's Gabriel Byrne. Gabriel Byrne, who's in Usual Suspects.
There we go.
Okay.
That's the one you're thinking of. I don't know. Like he's in a bunch of stuff. He's also in Stigmata, which stay fucking tuned.
Oh shit! I love that movie.
He's also he also plays a corrupt priest that ends up in hell in End of Days with Schwarzenegger too. Yeah, no, I mean he's a good actor. It's funny, like he was always that guy who was really close to being great. In fact, apparently, in Usual Suspect, he thought he was Kaiser Sose until the film premiere.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oopsies. Oopsie doodles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so the whole plot gets into motion because the king wants to bang Christine, and so she sends, or the potential fiance, is sent to war, where we see him die in the worst scene in the movie.
The second that was, as soon as he went up to charge the hill, dead.
I know. Who charges a keep, for Christ's sake?
Also,
Come on.
it's like an SNL bit of like a Civil War documentary. Like when Ken Burns first came out in 1991.
Yeah.
It's like that's what it felt like. It's like, all right, let's charge the hill, and oh no, I'm dead. Like
Yeah, like someone brought a sword to a cannon fight.
I mean, luckily.
What did he think he was gonna do with that sword?
Yeah.
No one else
He
knew.
knew. He was that. I mean, he went there knowing that he was purposefully gonna. He was killing himself on purpose. Because let's face it, even had he come back from war, what was he gonna come back to? The fact that King's is banging his fucking girl.
That's right. Also, we're introduced to the king being bad by like waking up next to this woman, and she's like, my cook has the best for breakfast, and he goes, "You're still here." It was very pointed.
Yo, that shit. He was just like, no, I like to eat alone. By the way, you're leaving in the morning.
I mean, that was essentially the nowadays it'd be like your Uber's outside.
Yeah,
That's right.
Money's on the dresser.
I called you an Uber.
basically.
Yeah. Oof.
Where'd you go?
As
And
long as he paid for the Uber, I guess.
well, we gotta talk about these secret tunnels.
It's called politeness, Candace.
It is.
We gotta talk about these John F. Kennedy style tunnels that they got going
Oh,
through
dude,
the
the fuck
castles.
tunnels?
Basically, isn't it though?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
The Kennedy tunnels. You're right.
The
I mean,
Kennedy tunnels.
that's
You
what
know,
it is.
yeah. And he just like this is. Was it like that in the castle days for my history
I'm sure
folks?
it was.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah. I mean,
Absolutely.
Just
Well,
Yeah.
Louis would have, because Louis had like 20 children with 5 women.
That's right.
yeah. Okay. Right. Well, syphilis or whatever, the Black Plague.
Keeping ye moist.
What was the Javier Bardem's character? Didn't he say he had some itching or
He
something?
did, he did.
Did he like erectile dysfunction or was it STD?
It was everything.
I think
it fell
Porthos-
off.
He had probably become limp or lame because he had some kind of STD like chlamydia or syph that was causing some like neuro problem.
And yet he did a foursome in a pile of hay.
Well, I
He
thought
did.
the point is it didn't get that far because it wasn't working.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You don't gotta shove it in to still catch it. So, the more you know, kids. Just here to teach you and spread that knowledge.
Probably had some weird, like, 16th century name, too, like Wandering Penis or something.
Yeah, this.
Well, they wouldn't call it the French disease since they were in France.
Right.
So, who did France
Well,
get?
speaking
It's
of
not
disease-
the British disease.
Well, speaking of threesomes, This is the world's funniest suicide attempt, where he just gets naked and goes to a barn.
That was the most glorious thing. That a middle-aged man butt just only in boots. The boots is what made it. Because if had he had no boots on, he'd have been like, "Oh, that's sad." The fact that he had the boots on made it hilarious.
For friction on the hay.
Yeah,
And
it
then
was
he-
great.
And then he tries to hang himself, but Aramis, the priest, had thawed through the beam, so
Exactly.
it brings down the whole building.
It does.
Like he knows immediately. He goes, "Don't worry, he's not going to do it." Like, I like the idea too that like they're so used to him getting drunk and trying to kill himself that they let him do it. They just stop. Like,
Your musketeer is so fat, when he tries to kill himself, he brings down the building.
oh, thank you all. Thank you all for coming tonight.
I'm so happy to be here. I love when we do these movies, by the way. It gives me a great reason to sit down and rewatch them.
Yeah.
And then, of course, chat about them and STDs here. This is great.
Well, because again, I'm sure you've done this now a half dozen times, maybe 8 times. When you come with notes, you know that it's almost all for naught. But then you never know when we're going to ask you for something specific. Like that's the game. Because like,
No, like I'll tell just for that reason. Leo has big dick energy. Like these, I gave myself spark notes of this and stuff and everything like that. Suicidal, fail because of erectile dysfunction. The Ocean 11 type heist. We
Dude,
gotta talk about the
we
Ocean
got a
11
heist.
type heist.
We have a full fucking heist in this
Yeah.
movie.
Right.
It's great.
And I gotta tell you, it wasn't Ocean's 11 because that would have been real slick. This was more like a D&D quest. It was like, because only in D&D would you be like, all right, I'm gonna put a guy underneath my big robes, and we're gonna walk in, and then we're gonna switch the guys out. Like, it was just, it's so ridiculous looking that you're like, come on, who didn't fucking see that?
Yeah, because
Candy in a movie theater.
These are like
unsuccessfully.
15-year-olds trying to buy booze in a trench coat.
It really is.
So Athos is a bit angry that his son is dead, so he tries to kill the king, and then
Yeah.
D'Artagnan shoos him off and pretends it was just all a stunt or something.
Well, yeah. So
Well, he just says, understand that he's just upset about his child, and he's trying to, be. He's the de-escalator. He's the Patrick Swayze of Roadhouse,
Right.
and that he's always trying to de-escalate the situation, but he will whoop your ass if he has to. He don't want to, but he will.
and by the way, this is your Grampy fight because this is John Malkovich's son who dies.
Yeah. Oh, I love Grampy fight.
And then like he like
Angst.
busts into a fortress and kills 6 people.
It does, Daddy Angst.
Dude, it is something because again, he is phenomenal and intense in everything he does.
And can I just say that while the actor who played his son is completely not important and he's not memorable in any way, he had the exact cadence down of how John Malkovich talks.
Yes.
And he did a great job of imitating that cadence, which made me suddenly immerse myself and think that he was actually his son, even though they don't look real super similar.
No.
But the cadence in which he spoke was identical, and I thought that was really, really clever, whoever either cast that naturally or thought to do it.
Right.
That's a good observation. I didn't look at that. But
Well, I'm deaf in one ear, so I'm really astute to like the speed in which people talk, and I read lips, and so
Right.
there's a certain cadence that Malkovich has, much like Walken and other actors like that a lot of people don't do, and the kid did the same thing, and I was like, that's a very nice little touch there, like. The hard of hearing community appreciates that little tidbit.
Well, and it shows that they spent time together and they actually had because like in the scene where like they're together even it works very nicely. What was the kid's name? Was that Andre? Raoul.
Yeah, Raoul and Christine, they have to have a phantom thing
Phantom
going.
moment. Mm-hmm.
By the way, in case you're curious, that's Peter Sarsgaard, who's in like 1,000 things as well. Yeah.
I don't know him.
Fine. Well,
Don't
fuck
know
you.
him. I don't care.
So Nora, what's in your
all right, so after Ocean's 11, they go and try to groom Philippe. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah.
Philippe.
Yeah, you're fine.
Philippe, which is Leo's twin, and they unveil the mask, and we see this. No facial hair, but it just seems like all the hair from his head just kind of missed his eyes and really kind of opened up, and they basically tell him the story and everything like that. They groomed him, and what was that?
It's a training montage.
It's a nice little medieval
Yeah,
training
it's a little
montage
training
where
montage.
they're wanting to switch the king so they can able to, basically getting rid of this Joffrey looking character. And so they go, and throughout this whole time, who was, I forgot, Leo's right-hand man, but also the Musketeer, his character, D'Artagnan, he's just not having any of it at all, because he's kind of left out at this story. So they kind of have to do all these things behind his back.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to include him.
But he didn't want it.
But he didn't want to be part of...
Because he had a secret, and we'll find out about that later.
He's so burdened by his secret.
Yeah,
So sad.
yeah.
Well, but the other thing, which I guess we should add to, is he doesn't want to help them, but agrees with everything they're doing. So, like, he helps them subtly at first, then really in the end. Like, it's almost more his story than Leo DiCaprio's, which is bizarre.
Yeah,
like, he's the one who changes. He's the one who develops.
True. So basically, everything's they go from Ocean's 11 to Ocean's 12, which is a masquerade ball where they need to switch.
Someone pretends to be someone that they actually are.
Exactly.
Dude.
You know, we got 2 Bruce Willises up in this. Okay, anyway.
I'm getting some serious.
Was that the what was it? Julia Roberts.
Julia Roberts,
pretending to be Julia Roberts as an
yeah.
actress who is not Julia Roberts.
Yep.
That was so
stupid.
Yeah, so I'm getting some serious. I got some serious Banquo's Ghost and Macbeth vibes here. Like like they've got the mask on and they're trying to drive the real King Louis crazy.
Yeah. Which to me was a clusterfuck as itself, because I've had those moments where I've been at parties and drank a little too much. And I was seeing shit where I'm like, oh, I need to fucking go to bed. you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, so the plot is they trying to switch him at this masquerade ball because they're all wearing masks, and that kind of works out.
It does.
They do a training montage that's supposed to take place in, like, they was like, there's no way we can get this kid trained up, and I mean, it takes years. Oh, sorry, dogs, you got 3 weeks.
3 weeks. And then that 3 weeks was even cut short.
It was.
Yeah.
To 2 minutes.
Yeah, because he was... Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, that's funny. Again, it's Grampy, like smacking around Leo, being like, "No, never apologize." Smack, and you're just like, "Dude, this it's intense." Because again, Malkovich is acting. He wants to beat the man who wronged him. Like, it's really cool.
It is.
Which, if I were, I mean, I'm not a father, but I would have choked him immediately as soon as I saw his face. I was like, it's a trick, he's a witch, he's a witch. And get him, you know.
I do like it's a trick, he's a witch. It's a good angle.
He's a witch, yeah.
A very effective technique back then. I mean,
Well, I mean, and also, I want to sit down and watch with you the movie Multiplicity, and then every time another Michael Keaton shows up, you go, "Shit, it's a witch!
Shit, it's a witch!"
Oh my God, there's another one! There's just like, bro, guy.
Yeah, so I guess they do the switch after they slip some absinthe or some pills in Leo's drink, where he's seeing doubles of the Iron Mask.
Right.
And I think Aramis gets the best line. It's Judgment Day, just punches him out.
Yeah, that's hot.
That's
That's some deep shit right
Jesus,
there.
Leo.
It really is.
Dude, you have like a Bond quip almost. Like, it's awesome. Like, it's a badass moment.
I like the fact that Porthos was dressed as a woman, because I have a theory, and that is all good movies have a bit of drag in it. And so the minute I saw that he was like going to go undercover as a woman, I was like, oh yeah, this solidifies this movie's greatness.
Well, this is Versailles, so they're all wearing those wigs and fancy outfits anyway.
It's true.
We needed some crappy rouge. That would have really brought it to life.
It's like that moment in like Sherlock Holmes when like Robert Downey Jr. is dressed as a woman. He's got the blue eyeshadow. Like that's all I could think of, and I was like, this pleases me.
We've all done a little drag here and there. I've dressed up as Big Mama twice, even though it was supposed to be Medea, but people just typecasted me.
Did you beat some little bullies in basketball?
Oh, what was that?
Did you beat some little bullies in basketball?
No, I didn't. I can't even. I'm not good at
Because
that.
I remember that in the first Big Mama's house. That was hilarious.
Yeah, it was just like, it was a horrible Halloween. And then I went last year as 11 from Stranger Things, but it was a spoof off the black guy who would try to do 11 with the Eggos and stuff. But yeah, they successfully switch Leo's character.
with a hand on his balls right now.
Wait, what?
It's Porthos.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, he's getting goosed right in the middle of that picture.
Not bad.
Okay.
So the
It's called method acting.
Sure is. It's a method for acting.
It's a very effective method.
So yeah, the heist works. They get the switch on it.
Yep.
And then Leo comes out pretending to be king for like 2 minutes. And
before he fucks it up.
yeah, because
God, Philippe, he's just like, I'm like, stop being nice. If someone told me that I could like suddenly take the place of royalty and get back at the person who had imprisoned me for 6 years, and all I got to do is just be a bitch, I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna be such a bitch for a night. Let's do this.
Can do. Yep.
Can do,
Yeah, and
motherfucking
it shows
do.
how smart D'Artagnan is. He hears a scuffle in the king's bedroom, sees Louis not being a jerk, and realizes something has gone wrong.
see, I think he knows what the plan was, you know, and you just had to go along with it.
But only
No,
I think
he didn't know because he never knew that there was another child.
only Aramis knew about the
Only
twin.
Aramis knew about the twin. Because D'Artagnan was drunk the night of the birth, because obviously he's upset because of the secret. And then, you know, that's part of the reason why, you know, he's constantly asking for forgiveness and praying, because he considers the fact that he sold his soul for hiding that child. And then furthermore, even worse than imprisoning him for 6 years. You know?
He was the one who put the
He's
mask
the one who
on
put the
him.
mask on him, and so that there's some like dark shit there. So D'Artagnan's never been in the loop about that. You know, in fact, it's sad because D'Artagnan, for a quick second, thought that his fatherly talk that he had with King Louis about one man and one woman had finally taken hold, and that he was being kind to Christine, even though the regular Louis would have just shooed her away. And he thought, I've made some kind of, you know, because he was, I agree with you, man. And he was like, is this the same person? And then he's like, no, maybe it's my fatherly talk that inspired him. And then, of course, he does some other shit that's nice, and he's like, oh, no, fuck, it's wrong. It's just other people.
Well, talking about Christine, she shows up at the ball.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
just mad at Leo's character because I don't know what it was.
She figured out what really happened because she wrote a letter in his name to the general.
Yeah, and confused, like, hey, why'd you do this shit? He was like, I didn't do it. I just followed the king. Right, you're right.
Now, this is what happens when you leave your mistress alone in your
With the
apartment.
stationery. Always hide the stationery
right.
in your wax seal, and you'll never have this problem. Just saying.
And then
Like the doctor
the
with
mother,
the
the
prescription
queen,
pad.
the queen shows up. The mother shows up.
She knew.
You want to
She
talk
knew.
about a character who they need to figure out, because she just wanders in, gives plot, and then fades back into
I thought she was a witch the first time I saw her. I was like, yo, she's a witch.
All right, I have a question about her.
Wait,
and-
stop.
What is it with you and witches tonight?
I don't know.
This is like the fourth time.
I mean, he is superstitious about black cats and shit, too.
no,
We talked about that earlier.
It's period pieces get to me. Even
Okay.
though I don't know. It's very hard for me, and so I always associate if something's not in like modern era,
It's a
in
witch.
the past. It's a,
Dude, I like the idea, like, you and I are watching a flick together, and you're like, dude, you think she's a witch? Like, just kind of leaning in, just a little bit. It's like,
Bro, she's a witch. It's like,
But see, that's the secret. We're all witches.
that's right.
you should. It's a hoot.
Sounds like one of those, what's the guy who wrote I Hope They Have Beer in Hell? It sounds like Tucker
Tucker
Max.
Max.
Yeah, it sounds like one of his books. Bitches Are All Witches. Like,
Bitches are all witches, trust me.
So Matthew, you said the mother knew.
Because Aramis she was going to confession, and Aramis is I guess he must have stuffed the real priest in an attic somewhere, and he's like,
He's a
reveals
priest.
he's a priest.
the intended priest.
sure.
Right.
And he told her, at least he dropped some pretty big hints as what was going on.
Right.
And she's only aware of the twin because the part of the Dungeons and Dragons fake out, they convince everyone that Philippe had died. And so Louis, in one of the very few times in the movie, he's not a dick. He's like, okay, tell my mom.
Yeah.
I got you. But yeah, and then I guess what else? I just remember.
Well, I mean,
So I have a question about Anne, Queen Anne.
Queen Anne.
And that is, what is she actually French? Because she has the weirdest accent
Queen-
throughout the whole film, and it goes back and forth.
Queen-
She speaks completely different from, and I'm talking about the actress that played Queen Anne, not actual Queen Anne.
Because actual Queen Anne was Spanish.
Correct. And I was wondering if the actress who played her was actually Spanish, because it's a weird accent that she does. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Is it she's actually French and everybody else is like from fucking Boston or like New York? And so that's why it sounds so strange. But it's weird because she would change her accent between when she was with everybody else. It was very, very French and very short. But then when it was with D'Artagnan, it was totally different. And I was like, is this supposed to represent the fact that she can be her true self around D'Artagnan? And, you know, like, so I wasn't sure if they were trying to get real fucking deep or if she just wasn't good at it. So, what is the answer?
She's actually French.
She is French. Motherfucker. Okay, here we go.
Well, but I think it's also like, if we're all Southerners, But when you're with someone with a like a yeehaw, like really crazy Southern accent, your accent changes. Yeah. So I wonder if she was just so baffled by Jeremy Irons' French accent that she's like, "Am I doing it wrong?"
Yeah.
Because it does and it is, to your point, it's almost seems like it depends on who's in the scene with the other actor. It's like when you watch Star Wars and Leia gives an English accent when she's around Tarkin.
Oh shit, she does, yeah.
It's because when you're with an English actor all day and you're 17 and kind of drunk, you're just like, I'm gonna do you now.
That being said, though, Tarkin also has big dick energy, and he works that daddy vibe. I would have banged Tarkin.
Dude, he has the strongest.
My fully operational old man.
You will find my penis. You're gonna find my penis quite operational.
Yeah, exactly. My goodness, yeah.
Dude,
I'm old enough to be your grandfather, but it'll work.
Do you think his penis also had such strong cheekbones?
God, I hope so.
Hopefully not too much.
Penis cheekbones.
You don't want to be cutting people down there, so hopefully not too much.
I mean,
a receding hairline.
I mean,
there's a website for that.
Hey girl, that's no move.
So this is gonna happen. So we're reviewing this horny ass movie, and here we are talking about banging Tarkin.
Well, I mean, let's be fair. I wasn't the one who brought it up.
I can't help it that this is how organically the conversation
Rule
occurs.
34, Candace.
That's right.
What's Rule 34?
First of all, someone is going to Tarkin Town on that weird Tarkin CGI nonsense that they did in that last movie. There is a virtual fuck doll somewhere. Going down to Tarkin Town.
I'm just gonna Google
Speaking
something.
of,
everybody keep myoping.
That's actually in the show Clone Wars. Like Tarkin drives some villagers out of somewhere, and they're living in a refugee camp. They're calling it Tarkin Town, and Vader gets really mad about that and just orders it burned.
That's true.
I mean, I will take your word for it. I just haven't watched Clone Wars.
It's Rebels, not Clone Wars. Sorry.
Either. I have not seen that one either.
Then you are doing yourself a huge disservice because they are hands down the best thing in the entire universe, other than Rogue One.
And they're going to bring in
the best.
And they're bringing in some of the Clone Wars characters into the Ahsoka Tano show. Oh, yeah. Like their Scuttlebutt, they cast the Aladdin guy as Ezra.
And a few of them showed up in the second season of Mandalorian.
That's correct.
Spoiler. But I mean, I will say, the characters that showed up looked like the I mean, even the Genndy Tartakovsky like stuff really early on. Like, it's great, totally great. Which reminds me, they use swords just like the Musketeers use.
Oh, they did.
I will say,
beautiful segue.
The stupid, phenomenal sword scene is when the poor of Paris are throwing food and he slices an apple in half like it's a Ginsu knife commercial.
And then he catches it
one
on the same knife, on the same sword.
And he's like, "You're right. This is
rotten." I'll speak to the king about it.
Is he eating it off the sword?
Yes, he does. He takes a bite of it, he spits it out, and he goes, "You're right. It's rotten." As if they would have lied about it. It's like, no, come on. He's like,
brought our freshest
They said it was spoiling, not that it had spoiled.
Well, yeah, but how spoiled are you?
That's about a 12-hour difference between those two items.
Have you ever bought an avocado? You have like 30 minutes to get it right before it turns brown into pudding.
Yeah.
You know, I actually thought about bringing an avocado here tonight, just because I have one that is about to go bad. And I was like, is it weird to just bring an avocado to my friend's house? And I was like, am I a weirdo?
Do we have any toast?
No, I mean, you're twitching. You're like, will it survive till brunch tomorrow?
No, I actually did ask myself that. I was like,
make it into an omelet for breakfast.
I know. I was like, okay. I was like, don't be weird. Don't bring an avocado to your friend's house.
Speaking of swords,
no, dude, you almost could have done it like it was a scene from Alien. Like you just put it on the table, put it out, and I'd be like, "All right, your move, Hoffman." I'm just like, "Whoa, she's coming hard today."
Speaking of swords, D'Artagnan figures out real quick, and they start after they've kidnapped real King Louis and don't shank him because they don't want blood on the carpet.
No.
And so they're taking him out of the palace, and D'Artagnan is sent to the guards after them. There's a bunch of sword fights, I guess, because no one wants to use guns around the king.
No. Yeah. Well, because you can only shoot it once, and then they just throw it down, which is really annoying to me.
Welcome to muskets.
I know, but I mean, come on. They don't have some fucking extra saltpeter sitting around?
I wonder how a drive-by would have went to back in the day.
It'd been a carriage.
Like, shit, we missed.
You know, like on a fucking Shetland pony.
That's why I have a carriage. You have 3 guys with muskets because one of them won't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, but like, I know they were trying to keep this dramatic and actiony, but like, if there was ever a setting to have like an open door farce, like, there's the shooting starts, the guy goes outside and opens the door, it's like, oh no, and closes it. There's a guy in the corner who reaches under the gunfire to grab that bottle of wine in the hall. Mm-hmm. This movie takes it so close to the chest, but like, literally the only cast is the people who need to be in the scene. Like, I don't know if they blew the whole budget on the setting, but like, other than the one garden party, there's almost no extras walking around. Like, everything is empty. Everything is like an empty hallway, which is fine, I guess. It's just...
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Because I gotta tell you, I mean, that's probably what it would have been like. You wouldn't have had a bunch of extra people meandering around some of these areas. It would have been pristine, vastly empty spaces that are just for His Royal Highness. And I think nowadays we feel the constant need to fill with either extras or people or music. It was a little more simple in 1998. It was a
restrained performance.
It was a very restrained performance, and the fact there's budgetary restraints also helps. So,
but I mean, again, like, the one place which thankfully they didn't cut was the acting. Like, the actors are all fantastic. I mean, I can't
Very
really...
true.
I mean, you're right. The son's only acting trick was sounding like John Malkovich, because otherwise he's like dry toast. He would have been like someone's cousin on Full House.
Yeah, definitely.
But like, even he's fine. Like, and like the 5 leads are all like, they're trying to out big dick each other. Like, it's remarkable.
It is lovely and remarkable.
It works.
It does
for all
work.
of them.
And so, so now, of course, Philippe has been captured again, and he goes back into the mask.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Because Louis is a dick.
That is a scene out of a Batman movie with like the Joker or something.
Yeah.
Like, he is screaming no, and you're just like, holy.
I gotta tell you, better than him screaming no is when he is playing King Louis, screaming, "You will wear it until you love it." And there's something strangely
erotic.
Yes.
I mean,
we'll go down. It's mildly creepy, but in a sexy, scary way.
Well, go back to the psych of Felipe, because remember when they do take the mask off him, they get groomed up, and I think after the suicide scene of, how about to say Philip Seymour Hoffman, John Malkovich's character sees him from the window, and he has the mask on, and he's like, I feel comfortable on it, you know what I mean? So that's why when they do...
Some fucking Stockholm Syndrome shit right there.
Yeah. That way, like,
sleeping with the mask next to him in bed.
Yeah, and that way, like, when they do come...
You understand the mask. You would never turn against me.
Is this like the Green Goblin where he's like, the mask is like...
Oh, dude!
Yes.
Willem Dafoe has King Louis.
Oh, God. I gotta tell you, Willem Dafoe would have... Okay, if Willem Dafoe could have played any character in this film, who do you think fantasy cast-wise he would have been good as?
Well, I mean, he does have Tarkin cheekbones.
Probably maybe Athos, because Willem Dafoe when he's angry is Goblin. So if he's kind of shows up at Versailles to shred King Louis, and there's like 20 musketeers to subdue him.
Yeah, he would have done a good job. Yeah, he's
gonna kill King Louis,
dude. But I mean, he'd have to. I would only allow it if he was trying to speak French. Bonjour. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Like, is that your William Dafoe? It's the best
That was
I got.
both of their William Dafoes, and neither of y'all are ever allowed to do that again.
I'm so sorry.
If Daniel was here now, he would chime in and do it as well, and it would also suck.
Well,
I say that with love.
I haven't seen him in anything since Spider-Man, so I'm kind of mimicking his Willem Dafoe.
Really? Dude, The Lighthouse.
The Lighthouse.
Because in Spider-Man, I just remember growling a lot, like when he's telling Harry that he's going to make up to him for being a bad dad by killing Spider-Man.
Dude,
there have been some iniquities I'm going to fix.
I'm too quite a scientist.
Him chasing away the pedophile in Florida Project is a phenomenal.
Florida Project was really
By the way,
good
if you want to see him mostly naked most of the movie, Last Temptation of Christ, dude.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, he's fucking getting it wet in that movie.
God, that's...
Boondock Saints, actually my favorite movie, Willem Dafoe.
That's
That's 100%
Speaking of your rule, all the good movies have someone this close to being in drag.
Yeah.
And he turns it. I mean, you said Medea earlier, man. Like, he turns into Bugs Bunny trying to dress up as a woman cartoon character in that scene.
That's true. That's
It
true.
is. Ooh.
Oh, that was hilarious.
Thank you.
So we gotta talk about this final like standoff thing that they had at the end in this dungeon scene or whatever.
Yeah. Okay. So
Or are we skipping something?
they break out Philippe again.
Right.
And they're
You
trying
skipped the
to
fact that Christine killed herself.
right.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Spoilers. We're talking about.
I
it.
think that's when D'Artagnan finally is like, enough.
That's when he decides that this is. And it's not that she's killed herself. It's the fact that then Louis says, "Get rid of it."
Yes.
And doesn't acknowledge. Not only is it that he doesn't acknowledge that he's sad in any way, but he also doesn't even acknowledge it's a person. It's really creepy and it's to show the disassociation.
Pussy does this to people.
I think he looks horrified for a second, then comes back down again.
Well, I will also say this is the character's building. You know, like, because at first he's just kind of a dick and a grab ass, right? And then he's also like, then we see him kick the woman out of the bed, and then we see him willing to kill to get a woman. Like, so they do a good job of building it up. Like, if you show it at first, like, it's just bizarre. But like, this script is actually really fucking good.
And in between, he does a sad boy routine so well that you honestly believe it a little bit. Like, Christine, there's more to me to love than the crown.
Exactly.
And
Which he was talking about his penis at the time.
So, I mean, D'Artagnan had told him earlier, you know, these women really like you, or is it the crown? I'm wondering maybe it got into his head that maybe he's right. But or he's just trying to get into her pants.
Well, I mean,
Why not both?
I mean, he did pull the most fuckboy routine as like getting the girl's fiance killed, dolling her up, trying to get all her family well put and everything together, just for the
Free healthcare. Gets him
and
every
stuff.
time.
I know, and I've known some guys just to do that, just to get the girl, just to get.
I mean,
the
he
girl.
sounds like he believes it. Like, I heard your family is sick. I'm having the royal doctors attend them. I know it's bad.
Just applying leeches to places at that point.
Because again, he's a good actor playing a dude who's faking caring to get laid, or maybe who knows.
So I have a theory now. I had to do my research to get this exactly right.
Oh.
But Jeremy Irons is the role that Willem Dafoe would have to play because he was the one described as hung like a donkey. Now, the reason why this is important, this comes from an interview with Lars von Trier.
Where is this going?
We had to have a stand-in for Willem Dafoe when he had nude scenes. We had to take the scenes out with his own dick. And the interviewer goes, why? Why did you have to have a stand-in for his dick when he was willing to do nudity? Well, we had to because Will's dick was too big. And the interviewer goes to fit on screen. And the director, Lars von Trier, this is for the interview for the movie Antichrist, in case you're curious. He goes, no, too big because everyone got very confused when they saw it.
That's what Green Goblin.
I love that, the idea that someone could have a confusingly large penis. I mean,
Hey,
I get it. I get it. It's a moment where you're supposed to feel sad and mournful, and then you're like, damn, that dick though. God, you're just like
Boogie nights.
a little awe at the same time. You're like,
Willem
oh,
Dafoe it's the chicken, it's the hormones in these food these days.
that's
Oh,
right.
God.
That's right.
Well, Willem
So we're
Dafoe,
having chicken wings for dinner.
Willem Dafoe is Aramis.
GMO, no GMO. No GMO. I need that
So-
Dafoe.
Willem Dafoe is Aramis doing the Green Goblin energy toward God.
That's right.
That works.
Him crying to the heavens, man. It's awesome. Let's wrap this movie up, guys. We got this.
Yeah, so
Well, all right. Well, at the end, the standoff scene. Basically, the four musketeers. They're trying to stay. They're trapped essentially,
Right.
and they need to get out. And the King Leo is not having it. And Philip is like, nah, man, let's sacrifice me because he wants me dead, not y'all. And then we get at the secret of this movie, the secret of this movie. And I won't do it justice. So of the secret. So who would want to tell the secret?
You were both my children. I went full Antonio Banderas, but that's fine.
that's all right.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So did he always? So he always knew that he had a suspicion of that.
No, I think he was nailing the queen for a while.
Yeah.
He definitely he knew that King Louis was his son. He obviously didn't know anything about Philippe until like that day.
And there's an actual like historical man behind the Iron Mask theory that one of the cardinals had the illegitimate son of a previous French king knock up Queen Anne because she and Louis XIII having marital problems. And
Louis, he was gay. He was very clearly.
And so the guy then tried to blackmail the monarchy, and so they arrested him and put the mask on him.
That's right.
It happens.
But let me ask you this: so does that make him rightfully king?
None of this makes sense.
Okay,
No,
I just
yeah.
want to make sure.
That's why he
because
says
again, it's a metaphor that whenever kings are bad, they must be evil. Because Dumas, who wrote this, was a super big pro-king guy. Like when the revolution came, he was against it. And that's what this story is. Like, and that's what the end scroll. Like we're fucking watching Texas Chainsaw or something. All of them like. The king got better. Don't worry, guys. And there was never anger in France again. Like, revolution what? Like it was all so bizarre. Because the end of it is like, kings could be better.
I feel.
Thanks, Universal Studios in 1998. It's just fucking stupid. Hi. This has been History Talk with Nick. With Dr. Nick.
I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on Willem Dafoe's penis.
I was about to say, I need no GMOs.
This podcast
there
was
are probably
confusing.
many people stuck on it at different times.
This podcast is also confusingly long. Hey.
And luckily for our friends, King Louis has come with the Musketeers to take down his brother so they can eventually pull the switch again.
So rocking the Disney Plus, by the by, I watched The Jungle Book with my daughter, and King Louis is the name of the orangutan. So whenever you say King Louis, I just say
He does like you.
Which Jungle Book? The animated one or
The
the
real
The
one. I'm
real
not
one.
going to show them
The
that.
The
good
now.
one.
remake was actually pretty good.
Well, the
Oh, I
one
have no problem with it, but you got to know the original first, man.
Yeah.
Well, the
Yo.
one with King Louis is a Gigantopithecus is kind of cool.
That's
I
fine.
saw some bullshit the other day, speaking of the Jungle Book, where
Okay.
they did a side-by-side comparison of the Jungle Book and Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yes.
like- it's the exact same shots, just
Well,
different. They just,
And at that point in particular, I think they needed a movie, and Jungle Book they used with as little money as possible.
Yeah.
yeah.
But Disney has historically always done that. All of the princess dances
Yeah.
are identical and based off of Aurora's dance from Sleeping Beauty.
Really?
Yeah, almost every single film, all the way up until Beauty and the Beast. I mean, so this is not like an old, like
I just
necessarily
didn't know
just when
that.
they were like old or hurting. This is a quick way to save thousands of dollars on, film, cellophanes upon cellophanes that have already been created because it wasn't computerized or digital
That's
at the
very
time.
true.
So
That's very true.
Well, and to
Yeah.
build off like what she said too, they used to do the thing where like there was an actress who was the voice of Alice in Wonderland. They would dress her up in an Alice in Wonderland costume and have her act out scenes, then layer the animation over it because you couldn't do things like motion capture or anything. And once you do that, and you do the animatics, and you do the pacing and the motion guides, and it's costed you 2/3 of the budget, you just keep reusing it because then like the dance that Cinderella does is not only the dance of the foxes in everyone's
Robin
first
Hood.
furry movie in the Robin Hood 77.
Oh, speaking of those of you that listen to the podcast that do Furry Week in Atlanta, they sent out an email this weekend saying, unfortunately,
Wait.
FWA is going to be canceled this year.
So
Right.
for a week,
Furry Weekend Atlanta.
What's-
FWA?
It's
What's-
another con.
It's a convention.
I was like furry people. Like, what's
It's
that?
a furry convention.
What's a furry convention?
Okay, well,
That's a whole nother podcast.
Anthropomorphic
right.
animals.
yeah,
What?
no, dude. This is a conversation.
Go
to
in
have.
incognito. I need to see this.
Young nerd, we will spoil your innocence later.
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do
Not
it.
now.
Oh shit! I did it.
Okay.
So to wrap things up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
they
and
have
furries also wrap it up.
Yeah.
together.
So, anyways, they come around the corner and they play the swelling music, which is a theme from that, and it's amazing. And of course the head of the King's Guard, which is under D'Artagnan, says, "What valor!" And they unload all of their muskets finally.
Eyes
at
closed.
once. Eyes closed because they purposely don't want to hit them because obviously they revere the original Musketeers.
Yeah.
And they get a couple of hits, but they still rise from the mist, and everyone's just like amazed by it. To which then King Louis flips his shit, tries to stab Philippe. D'Artagnan jumps in the way and takes the blade for him, only to say, "Don't kill him, he's your brother." To which then the guard's like, "Oh shit, everybody needs to leave out of here. Y'all didn't hear anything." And he helps and agrees that they need to do a little switcheroo for the good of King and Country.
And I guess everyone hated Louis so much they'll go along with it.
Absolutely, as they should.
Well, were twins not a thing, or were they considered like warlocks or witches and shit?
I was hoping you'd bring it up again because I'm like, no, it was witch. Oh no, you got it.
He's your brother. Like what? It's like not possible.
Is it so hard just when their twins are born to cut into them like 1 and 2?
Yes. Also, probably a crime at that age. But I like the idea.
You also can't acknowledge twins because had twins not ran in Queen Anne or his father's line, then it would have proven the fact that the twins ran in D'Artagnan's familial line and that he was not king.
But what if? What if?
I'm listening.
We opened a door and there were 6 other D'Artagnan twins. Like better movie, right?
Willem Dafoe would be one of them.
Yep.
And he'd be confusingly
Confusingly well hung and handsome. And angry.
I just don't think these tights are going to hold up. What?
Nothing. Continue. So.
And then, that was what they did in the last Ocean's 13. And,
dude,
funerals.
And when they bring up
funeral
Philippe
scene.
in the mask and he's like, no, I'm the real... But they just punch the shit. I mean...
He throat punches him, too. That's great.
Yeah, that was.
I'm like, be quiet.
Yeah,
I'm tired of you.
Yeah, and so D'Artagnan, they bury him in a grave with the iron mask on his tombstone, which
That's
is weird.
right. Well, it's because he was the one who was truly wearing the mask the whole time.
Ooh.
Okay, that's
shit.
deep because he was the one having the...
I want to say that you gave 3 mind-blowing analyses of this movie.
Thank you.
So props.
That's what I bring to the cast.
I sure do.
Thank you.
Sure.
I blow minds.
Because she's smart. I just make dad jokes.
But yeah, that's how the movie all comes together at the end. Anything else you guys want to touch on? We good?
Period pieces for me are very hard to pay attention to because they're not in the modern age. But I will say, as far as a period piece goes, it was pretty good for me. It was pretty good, and I enjoyed it. I can see why the young girls back in the day liked Leo.
Yeah, totally. Candace?
I think the movie held up great. I think period pieces as a whole hold up really well, much like practicals as opposed to CGI and that sort of thing. Because again, you're completely in the mood of a film until you're like, why do you have a flip phone? You know, it's one of those kind of things, or they don't use GPS, and you're just like, oh, but the period piece immediately says, oh, this could have been filmed at any time. You had an amazing cast, very good costuming. The costuming was actually really well done, and it was fairly accurate. And so, as someone who sits and critiques like the type of guns that are used in films and helmets because I'm a weird person.
You're fine.
Like
That's fine.
It's one of those things. Like so, I'm really picky about those things, and they did an excellent job with it. So that was good. The music is both memorable and forgettable, and it's because they only had one main theme, but the theme was great, and it was right at that time where like Last of the Mohicans and Braveheart and those kind of classic, like you had one big theme and you used the shit out of it, and when something bad was happening you suddenly just took it down a third and now it was evil, and like you didn't have a whole CD of stuff. The whole CD was the same, but it was so good. And so I thought it was great, and I was very happy to rewatch it, and I was really happy it held up because I was a little scared when we first started. I was like, again, in those first 3 minutes where it's like, I'm going to make nipple and fart jokes. I was like, oh shit, this may be bad. And then by the end I was like, yay! And I was all happy.
I mean, and to your point, just for a second before we get to Matt, he's the same dude who wrote and produced Braveheart. And it's the same kind of thing. You have the one theme and you play it 1,000 times.
Yep.
Anyway, Matt, what do you think?
I thought it held up pretty well, and there's stuff you get now that you don't get when you see it when you're like 14. Because I saw it the year it came out, and I didn't pick up on the D'Artagnan being the kid's dad. Not kids, being the prince's father, really. I don't remember that at all. I remember Louis, like, you're leaving in the morning just because that's like the dick move.
Yeah.
And the suicide and a lot of sword fights.
Yeah.
My only final thought on this is, you guys are all right except for Nora, who's wrong again. No, I actually like this movie.
The witch? No.
No, I actually really like this movie. It's interesting that it's been a while since we've had a real movie. We're not. I mean, the 2011 one had dirigibles and blimps in it. Like that's true.
Orlando Bloom doing the Johnny.
Was it like a steampunk version?
Yeah, steampunk Three Musketeers.
And the lady
can we watch that?
And the lady did Winter was a Black Widow in a hoop skirt.
Yeah, and it's 10 years old, so I guess we'll talk about it. But what I was gonna say is we don't get period pieces like this. Do Three Musketeers again, please. I'm sick of seeing Robin Hood be terrible. I'm sick of seeing King Arthur be terrible. Three Musketeers is sword fighting. Like, you fucking did 36 Pirates of the Caribbean movies. Do this. This was fun. To your point, it held up. To your point, it was better than I thought it was going to be. I chose it because I thought it was going to be silly. I think we need to get to the 1993 Three Musketeers movie to get silly.
Which I also have never seen, and I want to see it. I'm here for it.
We'll do it for an episode,
Okay.
and I'll let you watch that with your SO first, so that you can get all the sexiness out, and then then I'll let you watch it again with us, so we can get the silliness.
Okay.
Because
you don't want me to get too sexed up while we're here.
Yeah, I mean that would never happen.
So Tim Curry
toned down.
So this is me very
modest.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Tim Curry perving on Queen Anne. That's your thing.
Tim Curry's in this?
He's Richelieu in the 93
he's
one.
the villain.
Shut the fuck up! Why did you not open with that?
Because this is not because it's a different movie.
She meant
Yeah,
no.
you know what? Nick's right. I need to watch that at home first.
It's Kiefer Sutherland. It's Charlie Sheen. It's Chris O'Donnell, Robin from Batman and Robin and Batman Forever. And Oliver Platt for some reason because he's the fat guy for comedy relief.
You don't like Chris O'Donnell?
I don't care about any of these guys except for Tim Curry.
NCIS?
I mean, I'll watch all. I like these guys fine enough, but Tim Curry, we were talking about
Tim Curry is the villain.
the man.
He is scenery
Of course, he's the
chewing.
villain.
Yeah,
He is great as a villain.
He is.
Muppet Treasure Island is my favorite movie because of Tim Curry.
He's so good.
So you're a professional pirate.
That's right.
Yeah, there we go.
Rebecca De Mornay's in it too. It's been forever since I've seen this. Like, and I'll show you the movie poster. But like, you got a sexy Tim Curry. Like,
Oh shit.
I know you're done. But yeah, no, I'd recommend this movie. It's fun. See it. It's actually, I mean, yes, you can rent it on Amazon, but it's like a $4, $5 rent. Like, it's harder to find this than I expected.
We found it on YouTube this morning for $2.99
Good.
to rent.
Do it if you can. But like,
I could have saved $1.
I mean, exactly. But like, otherwise, like, I'm trying to think. Like, it's not on any streaming services. Which this seems weird. Like, stuff from the mid to late '90s, you just toss on to make it look like you have movies to choose from. But anyway, if you can find it, or God help you, maybe it's streaming somewhere. It's worth your time. It's a little long, but it's worth your time. It's 2 hours and like 15 minutes. You can make it in even 2 hours, just with more scenes of Grampy showering. All right. Anyway, guys, thanks for listening. Thanks for subscribing.
Did Matt get to finish his critique on this?
Yeah.
Anything else you wanted to say?
I thought it was pretty entertaining, and Porthos is hilarious.
Yeah.
And don't forget Toylanta, March 19th through 21st, and right here in Marietta, Georgia.
For all you listening in Australia.
That's right. For our listener base in Eastern Europe,
Exactly.
that will be in North Atlanta.
Exactly.
That's right. Also, remember, you're gonna plug your Nordcast.
Nordcast is coming soon.
That's right.
Yes. And actually, Hoffman, we'll talk later about that as well.
I'm sure you will.
Yeah.
And then for Candace and I, of course, Cineprov.
Yeah.
We have a show every other week at this point.
We do.
And you can join us for trivia if you just want to see our beautiful faces. And Matt's regular, and North's coming too. So like you might actually see all of us accidentally.
It's true.
But what I was going to say is you can buy any of our riffs individually, or go to the Patreon, patreon.com/Cineprov for that, or for us, patreon.com/Myopia, where we have movie riffs as well. And we have, extra episodes, one extra episode a month, and an extra mission briefing every other month. So thanks, guys. And we're out.
Yay!
Myopia Movies is a production of Dude Letter Podcasting. It is hosted by Nick Hoffman, edited by Nick Hoffman and Daniel Sudis. The theme song is Surf Shimmy by Kevin MacLeod. Find his music on Comtech.com. It is registered under the Creative 4 license. Our regular panelists are Matthew Quinn, Daniel Suttis, Nick Hoffman, and Jeremy Weigel. Thanks for listening. Please support our Patreon at patreon.com/myopia. Thanks, guys.